or see whether the Baba, whether the person is interested in Baba, and whether the person tries to understand Baba, and the next step, he loves Baba. You see, we can't all at once just foist anything upon that man at all. We have to have a very tactful and a considered approach to him. First of all, make friends with him. That is the best way to do it. And then gradually, we should not force anything upon anybody. We should place all the things before him and let him judge and find out what is best for him.
I'm really referring to if someone has been coming, let's say,
Yes,
to Baba meetings,
Yes,
and
yes.
this particular person would like to know more about Baba's message on how to obey him or how to carry out his wish. Baba has stated a list of how to love God and given us also his wish.
So it is very, in the message itself, you see, the language is very clear how to obey. How to obey is a personal question that deals with the man himself. He has to see how to obey. Now the student has to learn, the teacher teaches. Now if the students ask a question, how should I learn this? He has to spend his time, he has to spend his energy, he has to take up the subject with all seriousness. Then he learns. You see, he has to spend his time. He cannot get things by asking. You see, merely desiring. He has to desire himself. You see. He has to spend his time, his energy, and then slowly and gradually he learns. All at once, if he asks a question, how to learn, it's very difficult to answer this question. He has to get himself fully introduced to the subject. Then he has to take deeper interest into the subject. Then he has to work upon it. He has to read and reread, try to understand things, you see, and then go on learning. He cannot get things by mere asking. If you ask a question and get a reply, for the moment you feel satisfied, but it takes you nowhere unless you take it up seriously. A thing like that, you see, cannot be treated in a very casual manner in one's life. He has to be very serious about it. He has to think about it over and over again. He has to read it. He has to understand it. He should give himself opportunity to create circumstances by which he will be able to love Baba. But he doesn't want to do any of the things, and then he says he wants to learn and understand. It will be, and even if he learns and understands, it will be only skin deep. It will not go deep down into him.
Is it better that we keep what we have for Baba inside ourselves, and people who know nothing of Baba or who haven't even heard his name, should we tell them, or should we wait to be asked, or
It all
not be concerned about
It all depends upon your own intention, your own. So long the carriage is attached to the engine by a connection or a coupling, as it is called, which is our love for him. And if that is firm and strong, it doesn't break away. You see, the carriage goes wherever the engine goes, no matter whether in the carriage there is filth or gold. The carriage goes wherever the engine goes. But you have to guard against ourselves, not left behind. It is your love and obedience and your sense of dedication that comes into the picture. So you have to attach yourself firmly to him. And everything works out. Then do not bother about the samskaras at all. Because samskaras is a mathematics only known to Baba. We do not know anything about it. Beyond the thing that Baba has told us about the samskaras, we do not know. It would be entirely a speculation on our part to find out good samskaras, bad samskaras and all that. We have not to worry about it. The only thing, the simplest way Baba has shown us, to love him and lead a pure, normal life in the world.
In other words, everything that we do, we say Baba does it. Like we eat, Baba eats.
That depends
something
upon
like that.
that
You know,
depends
everything.
that depends upon the man, how he feels it and expresses it. It depends upon the man how he feels it And supposing I am wholly dedicated to Baba, I would feel that everything is done is inspired by Baba. If a man doesn't feel that way, it is quite all right for him. Everybody is dedicated to Baba in his own way. Just as all the currents of water eventually go to the ocean. So we can't lay down a rule that a stream of water should take a turning like this or a turning like that. It has its own way, it goes eventually. The most important fact is that eventually goes and meets the ocean. We are all different in our ways. We should not really bother about the samskara at all.
How can we justify
On the occasion, on the circumstances where you have to take the life of somebody. If you are serving in an army, Baba has given a beautiful message on war. If you have to serve in the army and you are drafted for the army, you have to kill for the sake of the nation. You are not killing somebody for your own self-interest. But if you go and murder somebody and steal away all his property and all his possessions, that is a crime.
On that subject, I was reading last night on violence and nonviolence.
Yes.
He gives maybe about 5 really beautiful examples of
Man who kills another is also in the man who is killed by another. He is everywhere. Just as Kabir says, आप ही गाई आप कसाई आपने काट के आपको खाई. He is in the butcher. He is in the cow. He is in the instrument which kills the cow. He is everywhere. And he is in the man who eats the beef. He is everywhere. So, you play your part and let him look after his own things, which we really do not understand until we know him and his reality.
Did Baba say something that snakes cannot progress in evolution unless they're killed by a human being?
Hmm?
What a change.
What a change.
Baba said if you see a snake, kill it and call its name. The snakes are the only...
There are certain forms in the evolution which Baba has said out of his own knowledge that to kill certain things, certain animals like a snake is good for the progress of the snake. He doesn't permit anything and everything to be killed in that manner. And he says it out of his knowledge. For instance, a scorpion. He always said that you must kill a scorpion. A mosquito. Whenever he said about something about the mosquito, he said kill the mosquito. But he wouldn't come out and say you kill a hen or a cock or a dog or a cat.
what about roaches?
I think that is permissible.
That's where everyone should be.
Like a disease carrier, like a mosquito or a fly that carries disease.
You see, don't forget Baba has said one has to be very practical in life and you should not run into very extremes and in the bitterest details of a certain thing or a subject is. You have to keep yourself very much balanced.
Of course, you can swat the fly and say, I love you, fly. I'm doing it for your own good.
Baba can say this.
Yes.
You see, there is an example I will give you of Baba Jan. You see, Baba Jan used to all the time live in an on the open ground, under a tree, in all climates, in all conditions. And one of her fingers was actually, you see, infested by germs. We could see those insects. But when the insect fell down, she used to pick it up and place it back there. We do not know what work she was doing by that. We can't afford to do like this. Baba used to wash the feet of the leper. And he told us he told the Mandali not to touch the leper. But he himself with open naked hands used to touch and wash things. It was his work, he did it. Yes.
Yes, the boy.
Yes. There were quite a few yogis who had come to Baba, but Baba alone knows how to deal with them. And for the matter of a yogi, Baba sometimes remarked that if a yogi comes to me and is stuck somewhere, it is more difficult for him to deal with a yogi rather than deal with a man who had never done any yoga, a simple man of the world. It was easier for him to show him the way and to work things out in his life, because a yogi has his own way of life, his own impressions. At one time I actually saw a yogi who was given over to he was a vegetarian all his life. Probably the first thing Baba would ask him to do if he had decided to follow Baba, he would ask him to break his vegetarianism, ask him to eat meat. And if he could obey, it was good for him. If he did not obey, then he lost the chance of any benefit that he was to get from Baba. So Baba could utilize anything and everything because it was all his knowledge. What is a yogi before Baba? Yogi is really nothing at all. And yoga, for the matter of that, is a mental acrobatics. A man may get certain things, certain experiences, but where is it going to take him? It never the yoga does not solve the problem of a man's life at all. I do not say in any way that yoga is bad, but it has many dangers also. So Baba has shown the way. If one wants to do yoga, then he has shown the way. And the most important fact is, as Baba said, you go and Baba come. And the result of all the yoga, invariably, people do is to heighten their own ego so much. They look upon themselves as very important. So on one hand they want to gain something spiritually, and on the other they lose fundamentally by becoming so egoistic about themselves. That should not be the case.
And how do they get so spiritually advanced from all this yoga? Like they get, like you said, sometimes they get stuck on planes.
No, not actually plain. You see, an advancement of the yoga is, to my mind and to my view and to my understanding, is really very different to the actual spiritual advancement. I do not think that in the real sense, barring exceptions, a yogi really does not advance in the real sense. You see, in the light of Baba's explanations given on the subject of the various aspects of consciousness, probably I explained the other day also, that you will find that yoga, Baba has beautifully placed and explained what yoga consciousness is compared to the other consciousness. So you have to really know what this yoga consciousness is. Have you seen a lizard? When you cut the tail of the lizard, kill it outright. You kill the lizard becomes lifeless. But the tail is separated from the body. And you see the tail wagging for a very, very long time, whereas the lizard is completely dead. It's become lifeless. What is it that goes on wagging the tail all the time? It's something like a past momentum of the life of the lizard that causes the tail to go on wagging and moving. So when a man dies, the physical body disintegrates and mixes into the gross universal element. Takes time to do it. In like manner, the astral body disintegrates. Astral body is made of gross particles, but very fine gross particles. They are not subtle particles. They disintegrate, they take a long time to do it. They may float in the astral atmosphere for many, many years to go, we do not. So it is something like this, you see. The man only looks to the wagging tail, probably the discarded astral body of the dead man. I do not know, he communicates. And there are many spirits hovering about, you see, different types of that. And the astral body can even penetrate through a wall, through anything that is so dense. Astral body is also composed of gross particles, but has a capacity to penetrate the dense, the physical, the wall of the gross world. There is no meaning in this at all. What is this communication? The man is gone, the spirit is gone, he is not there. It is the astral body discarded, maybe floating in the air. This man contacts and communicates, and he says, this is a communication with the dead.
Supposed to the spiritual regions, they give them spiritual discourses, that sounds very nice.
It is not spiritualism, it is spiritism.
I agree. I sort of get worried because I think there's stuff and dangerous. You always worry about your friends when you see them. You think it's
It is something like it's a very silly thing, stupid for one to do it. It has no importance whatsoever in the life of spirituality for a man. It hasn't got the whiff of spirituality in it at all.
I wonder if you could explain a bit more about what the word spiritual past means. There are a lot of us we sometimes discuss, and other people might have mentioned that they feel that somebody's on the spiritual path. Now, Bob has explained the 7 things, and some people have said there are 49 steps, and spiritually advanced souls are people who are on spiritual.
Really spiritually advanced souls are very, very few.